Hi guys, welcome to today's screencast. It's going to be done in two parts. First of all, we're going to look at the muscles of the human body, and then we're going to look at types of muscles we have. So we've done the skeletal system. Now moving on to the effects of exercise and sports performance on the muscular system. So with your email, I sent you over a Word document with an anterior view and a posterior view of a muscle man. Okay, we're going to go through the muscles that you need to know for that. So ignore these white blanks on this part. These are the individual terminology, the individual words or names for these individual muscles which you don't need to know. You just need to know them as groups. So we're going to start at the top. So first of all, the anterior view. Anterior view is the front of the person. Okay, so we have trapezius. That's the muscle that you can literally grab on the top of your neck. If you can all do it now, you'll be able to grab it. Some people have bigger trapezius than others. So that muscle there, you can grab that actual trapezius muscle. Your deltoid is your shoulder muscle. This muscle on top of your arm there is the shoulder. Now, for the purpose of this, ignore triceps for now, and we've got biceps. You don't need to put biceps brachii, you just need to know them as biceps, and that is the muscle at the front of the top of your arm. When you're tensing your biceps, you'll see the bicep muscle. So we have supinator and pronator. These are here. Now, you don't need to know exactly where they are, just note supinator is there above pronator. That'd be absolutely fine. We'll discuss those in class on Monday and Tuesday. Wrist flexors, that's these number of muscles here. Now, we know what wrist flexion is, so that action, wrist flexion, that occurs due to these muscle groups here. So you've got the two, just put two lines just here. It's the forearm, just put a line from there to there and just put wrist flexors. Then we have the hip flexors. Hip flexors are here. Just again, on your actual muscles, you won't be asked to label a muscle man in an exam. You just need to know whereabouts the muscles are and what they do. So for example, these hip flexors, they cross over the hip and they help with hip flexion, hence the name, hip flexors. Then we have the quadriceps. The quadriceps is made up of four muscles and they're here as a whole. So you can just put one line and just put quadriceps. Then we have tibialis anterior. That's basically in front of the tibia or the shin bone. Tibialis anterior. Tibia, because it lies on the tibia. Anterior, because it's at the front. So the front of the tibia. Tibialis anterior. Ignore these two for now because we're going to look at them on the posterior aspect. Then we have, up here we have our abdominals. They are basically our six packs. Our six pack are our abdominals. And then we have our obliques. You don't need to know external or internal oblique, you just need to know obliques. And our obliques are here, just on the outside of the abdominals, which are here. And then finally we have our pectorals, which are our pecs. But we need to know them as pectorals, and they're on both sides. Okay, so that's the anterior view done. So then we're going to go on to posterior view now. So posterior view, here's your trapezius again. This is it from looking at it from the posterior view, so you can see how big it is. So it actually comes down here and then all the way down to the middle of your back. That is your trapezius, this whole muscle in here. So erector spinae, that's this muscle here. Erector spinae actually runs down the whole length of your spine or your vertebral column, as you now know. And it runs down either side. It's called your erector spinae, i.e. it keeps your spine erect. And that's, you just put the diagram, the line there, erector spinae. Triceps brachii, you only need to notice triceps, that's at the back of the arm. If you straighten your arm and tense it, you'll be able to see a muscle at the upper part of your arm, that's your tricep that you can see there. On the back of your forearm, so here are your wrist extensors, and they extend the wrist. So you should know what wrist extension is. The muscles that do wrist extension are the wrist extensors. And then at the lower leg, you've got the gastrocnemius, also known as your calf, but you need to know as your gastrocs. So gastrocnemius, that are these muscles here. Then underneath that, just to the side, you've got a muscle called soleus. So gastrocnemius, soleus, and they help with plantar flexion. Then our hamstrings are on the back of our leg, like the quad. There's several muscles here. They're all known as the hamstrings. You only see them as the hamstrings. So it's one line, hamstrings. You just need to know these are your gluteals. So you've got gluteus maximus and gluteus medius, but you only need to know them as your gluteals. So your butt cheeks are your gluteals. Latissimus dorsi, you may know them as your lats, but you need to know them as latissimus dorsi. That's this muscle here. That's latissimus dorsi, and then that's just the posterior view of your deltoid that you put down for your anterior view. So they are the muscles that you need to know for your exam. Now, we'll go through these in a lot more detail in class, and we'll do some activities to help us remember them in class, but that is that part done. Now what we're going to do is going to look at your Cornell notes. We're going to do a Cornell notes for different types of muscles in our body. So we have different types of muscles. We have skeletal muscles, smooth muscles, and cardiac muscles. Just a quick reminder for our Cornell notes, title skeletal muscle, you write your description and key information underneath it. Then to the left hand side, you're going to put your key questions, going to remind you of the answer. Same for tendon, same for smooth muscle, same for cardiac muscle. Okay. So this is a typical exam question that you may get about the types of muscles in the body. Skeletal muscle is one type of muscle tissue. State one other type of muscle tissue and its location in the body. We're going to look at that now. So, skeletal muscle or voluntary muscle. This is voluntary, which means it is under conscious control. So, like you volunteer to do a job, and you don't get paid for it, you volunteer to move your skeletal system by using your muscles, your skeletal muscles. So skeletal muscles attached to bones via tendons. So underneath tendons put attached muscle to bone. As you can see here, this is the muscle. On the end of the muscle you have tendons. It's this white thing there and the white thing there. That is a tendon of a muscle. And that the tendon attaches to the bone. So tendon attaches muscle to bone. That's what a tendon does. This creates movement. So skeletal muscle is voluntary muscle and is under conscious control. Look here, so used primarily for movement of the skeleton. For example, the biceps or hamstrings are an example of skeletal muscle. You've got the latissimus dorsi, triceps, hamstrings, quadriceps. They're all examples of skeletal or voluntary muscle. Remember, voluntary because we decide to do it. When I move around in the classroom, I'm deciding to do that. I'm volunteering to do that. Next muscle type of muscle we have is smooth muscle or involuntary muscle. That should be muscle, not movement. This is found in the stomach or intestines. Slow, rhythmic contraction, unconscious control. So this is involuntary, so it is without conscious control, so it's not under our control. Located in the walls of the digestive system, blood vessels, as I said, stomach. So I am not asking my stomach to contract. It does it automatically under unconscious control. I'm not consciously saying, oh, can you break down that food I've just had? It's automatically doing itself. These are known as smooth muscles. Smooth muscles are involuntary muscles that are without conscious thought. Example is stomach. Then we have our cardiac muscle. This is involuntary, which means it works without conscious control as well, or conscious thought. So similar to smooth muscle, the cardiac muscle is also involuntary. Its contractions help to force blood through the blood vessels to all parts of the body. So it's found in the wall of the heart. This is the only example of the cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscle is found in the walls of the heart. Here's the heart. These are the muscles. Now, these are only found in the walls of the heart. They are not under our control. Again, I do not control my heart rate consciously. It is controlled unconsciously. It beats without me asking it to beat. Right, okay guys, so that's a screencast. Hopefully you get that done and I'll see you in class on Monday or Tuesday. Thank you.